Hi guys, welcome to a new series, North Node in Cancer. I'm wearing my pajamas. Pajamas is a universal symbol of comfort, of nurturing, of cozy at home, underneath your covers or not, but it has to do with comfort, with coziness, with warmth, with nurturing. So when I say welcome to North Node in Cancer, I'm saying welcome home. This one's dear to me because I have North Node in Cancer. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about is going to come from personal experience. I've lived it, I know how it feels like, I know how you guys feel. So before we dive into the specifics of Cancer North Node, let's give you a general idea about Capricorn South Node. Capricorn South Nodes, you guys are my workaholics. We know how to work hard. We're not afraid of hard work. We're not afraid of obstacles. And the more difficult, the better. The tougher, the better. The more steep the ladder that we have to climb, the better. Because Capricorn gives himself life. Capricorn gives himself worth through hard work. Through hard work, achievement, diplomas, recognition, people looking up to us, applause. We want to be, we don't mind working hard, and we want to be acknowledged for that. We want people to look up to us and say, oh my God, you, the true goat, because the symbol of the Capricorn is that mountain goat, right? So a true goat, the greatest one of all, greatest of all time. That's what Capricorn wants in their heart. They want, in their mind, they want that recognition, and they don't mind putting in the hard work. They don't mind putting in the hours. They don't mind sacrificing everything around them for achievement, for that gratification that comes from achievement. So my workaholics, people who are not afraid of responsibility, people who are not afraid to step into any situations, no matter how crazy, no matter how volatile, to come in and say, I got this, guys. Capricorn is the father of the zodiac. Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. They're both nurturing, but they do it in different ways. Capricorn, being the father of the zodiac, is tough. He's strict. He does not like a lot of emotion. He sees emotions as weakness. Capricorn South Nodes hate to display weakness, because weakness means that I'm not strong. That means that I will not climb to the mountain. That means somebody else will be better than me. We're competitive like Aries South Nodes, but we do it in a sense of achievement, like we have to achieve. Without it, we're nothing. We don't know who we are unless we're working hard, unless we're producing, and everybody gets to see it, and everybody gets to look at us and say, wow, you're amazing. We want that. But the pitfall with this is that in this lifetime, because Capricorn is in the South Node, we overdid that. We overworked ourselves. We overworked ourselves to death. We ignored everything that had to do with our own comfort. We ignored everything that had to do with our own families, our emotions, our hearts. We probably don't even know what it feels like to feel, because we suppressed our hearts and our feelings so much, because feelings meant weakness. If I'm weak, I will be defeated. If I'm weak, my enemy. And with Capricorn South Nodes, we are competitive, and we kind of see everybody as, if it's not me, then he's gonna be. If you're not first, you're last. Kind of like Aries South Node. So for us, showing emotions meant weakness, means somebody can take advantage of us, and we do not like that. So I guarantee you, Capricorn South Nodes, very disconnected from feelings. Uncomfortable with feelings, uncomfortable with emotions, uncomfortable with crying. I guarantee you, if you freaking cry, you're doing it somewhere hidden where nobody can see you. Even women, guys, even women. I was very uncomfortable with crying, very. I did not want anybody to see me as weak. I had to prove to everybody, including myself, that I was tough, that nothing can get me, that I can do this, that nobody can do it better than me. That's another pitfall for Capricorn. We are so used to taking charge. We're so used to doing everything on our own and being completely independent from others, that we don't trust others to get things done. We think that we're the smartest, we think we're the best, we're the most efficient, we are the best. And so we can look down upon others and say, well, you're never gonna be good enough. Your work is never gonna be good enough to my standards. Capricorn South Nodes, huge standards, huge. And just as we are critical of others, and saying, not good enough, this is not good enough, you can do better, 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 better. We do that to ourselves. So that critic that's on the outside is also on the inside, doing the same thing, driving us and saying, you can do better, you can do better. Stop your crying, wipe your tears, very masculine. Get out there and do it, because if you don't do it, nobody's gonna do it. So Yeah, so now with North Node in Cancer, you are here to get off that mountain. You're here to get off the corporate ladder. You're here to get off that desire for achievement, for desire to recognition. You're here to put on your pajamas, literally and figuratively, and freaking nurture. And first, you're gonna have to nurture yourself. You're gonna have to get in touch with your emotions. You're gonna be brought to your knees with feelings, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for you. You're not going to know what to do. You may be at a funeral and you're not going to know what to feel. Somebody's cat just died and you'll be like, well, fuck, I don't feel anything. Almost like no empathy. But it's not because you guys don't have it. It's just that it's been buried deep inside of you so much through so many lifetimes. You forgot that connection to your heart that you literally can't feel emotions. And some people may say, gosh, you're so cold. You're so cold. You have no heart. People told me that before. And you don't understand. You're like, well, but it's true. Like literally, you're so disconnected from that part of you that in this lifetime, you will be forced to connect to that. You will not find pleasure in career advancement. You will not find pleasure in busy work. You will not find pleasure. You may think, but the more you do it, the more you work hard, the more you climb the ladder, the more you ignore your own comfort, your own emotions, the unhappy you're gonna be, to the point where you might freaking collapse. You might get sick, you might get fired, only to freaking stop you in your tracks and force you to spend time by yourself, to forget about achievement, to forget about all of that, spend time alone, get to know your emotions, get to know, watch movies, get to know that emotional part of you, bring it out. And you're gonna have a lot of crying, guys. I'm telling you, a lot of crying where you're gonna have to accept that, gosh, I'm strong, but I don't need to be so strong. I don't need to carry the world on my shoulders. Somebody else can do it. I can just relax. I can just make some soup and just sit here and watch This Is Us, and cry my heart out. That's good for you. Even though your mind may say this is stupid, it's a waste of time, we have so much work to do. It's the best thing for you is just to sit there underneath your blankets with a good movie, emotional movie, something that's gonna pull on those strings and freaking make you cry. And the more you cry, the better. So as you learn to nurture yourself, after that, you'll be able to nurture others. You'll still be tough because when you bring in that Capricorn South Node toughness, it's not going anywhere. But now you're going to do it with a motherly approach, with a nurturing approach. You're not going to be that strict father figure that says, no, this is not good enough. You're going to be nurturing. You're going to be strong. You're going to be a huge rock for whoever needs you because you have the strength and then you'll have the empathy and the feeling part. It's a beautiful combination. All right, so now we're going to dive into each house specifically to give you an idea what you're working with, okay? All right. North Node in Cancer in the 9th house. What does that mean? So in order to understand that, before I take you there, let's go to the South Node in Capricorn in the 3rd house. 2 words that come to mind: rigid thinking, rigid communication, rigid thought process. The good part about Capricorn in the 2nd node in the 3rd is that you are probably don't like to waste too much time on talking, probably have a very logical, clear mind that's practical, not a lot of illusions, not a lot of being around the bush, you're direct, maybe cold in your approach, people always know where they stand with you. You have that mind of a researcher, a mind of somebody who takes a long time to think about something, somebody who has clear-cut views and very strong opinions, and usually pretty dominant about them, very, very rigid thinking, guys. It's hard to change your mind. You like a lot of structure in communication. You don't like a lot of small talk and CC. You don't like that. You like clear cut. What do you think? All right, very like, if I had to compare it to like a CEO or a COO or somebody who's running a corporation and they don't have time for bullshit. They just want to know, how much are we going to make? What's going to happen? How much are we going to lose? And things like that. A lot like business thinking, a lot of logical, clear cut, no bullshit thinking. That's the good part, is that you're really good at organizing your ideas. You're really good at being firm in the way you speak, and you are, not wishy-washy. You are solid, and people probably listen to you. They probably come to you for advice, maybe. You know, they always say, well, if I go to her, she's going to give it to me the way it is. That's the beauty of you, you know. Probably very honest, too. Honest and cold. Straight. So, with the downside of that is that because you had so many lifetimes employing all these attributes, you became very, very rigid in your thinking, to where you're as smart as you think you are, as smart as you thought you were. Your world was actually very, very small, because your perception and your ideas were very, very small. They were rigid, stubborn. When you are stubborn, you're actually not that smart, because the person who is open-minded, if we were to call somebody smart, I would say somebody who's open-minded, because that person will try this, will listen to that, will watch this, will do that, and he's constantly synthesizing, he's constantly making his world larger, because we're here to interact with one another, and we're all super cool beings. We all have a lot to say on different subjects. So as we share, we enrich each other's worlds. But a lot of us, like you guys, with rigid thinking, stubborn attitudes, you know, your world actually becomes small, because you only believe one thing and you only see things from one perspective. So I would say the downfall would be you're very stubborn, somebody with a lot of pride, somebody with a big ego when it comes to their knowledge, somebody who thinks he's the smartest one in the room. I talked about Capricorn in the 9th being a lot about diplomas and education and all that stuff. So here it would apply the same thing. Somebody who places a very high emphasis on intellect, and probably can be a snob, and probably could look down on people as, well, they're not that smart. First of all, they went to a shitty college. Second of all, the degree they measured in is shit. So there's nothing that person can teach me. So that's the key here, is that, yeah, maybe they can't teach you a mathematical equation, but they can teach you something else about life, because you need to realize that in life, it's not all about clear-cut, logical things that the mind can perceive, that there's a bigger world out there that you can feel the truth in versus think it. So it's going to be hard for you guys. This is a hard position, because Capricorn does not like to budge. Capricorn is stubborn. Capricorn is earth. Capricorn is somebody who's always going to value their opinion over another. They're always going to value accomplishments over something else. They're always going to value peer-reviewed articles over intuition. They're always going to want clear facts, proven. Show me how it works, prove it to me. I want proof. What else? Capricorn in the South, in the 3rd, you were some kind of teachers, a teacher who was authoritarian, you know, who was like, you have to think the way I think. This is the truth. And a lot of people, I would say, your friends, just like some of them come to listen to you for advice, a lot of them don't like to be around you, because you dominate the conversation. You think you're the smartest one. You have a big ego when it comes to your thinking, your thinking process, your intelligence. You probably value your IQ, and you probably have a high IQ. You probably really value anything to do with education, anything to do with you know, superiority in education. You compare yourself a lot to others, and you kind of compare yourself a lot to your accomplishments. Maybe you've written some books, maybe you have PhDs, you know, you're smart people, but you're stubborn. And that's why, like I said, your world is smaller because of that. And your intelligence, your thinking mind is basically, the irony is that just because you know so much, you're actually quite ignorant when it comes to life, when it comes to feeling things, when it comes to intuition, when it comes to gut feelings. So that's going to be hard for you guys. You're probably watching this thinking, this bitch doesn't know what she's saying. You know, she's probably, you know, like, what makes her the authority on this? Well, you don't have to listen to this, but I'm just telling you that you have to see that snob inside you. You have to see that the one that with the big pride that thinks he's the smartest one because he's got a degree from Harvard. But you all know, guys, that a lot of times you following your heart and your gut feeling will get you further than any degree ever will. Because there's a lot of people in history, you know, scientists, people that we admire, CEOs that never went to school, that never got a degree, and yet they followed their gut feeling and they are where they are now. Simply because of that intuitive business acumen that they have. So let's move to North Node in Cancer in the 9th. You're here to broaden your mind. You're here to not necessarily think so much, but feel. Really feel things. Really feel things about the world out there. You know, maybe you have a very critical view of other cultures. Maybe you are racist in some way. Maybe you think that you know, Mexicans are this way, or Russians are like this, or you know, Americans are like this. Maybe you have very clear-cut views on like the people of the world and how they are, and you pigeonhole them. So with Cancer in the 9th, you have to open yourself to the world and you know, let go of that rigid thinking. Open your heart to it and learn, intuitively learn, pick up. Listen to other people. Once again, you know, in the South Node in the 3rd, there was a lot of talking, you dominating conversations. With North Node in the 9th, you're here to listen. With North Node in Cancer, you're here to, you know, listen to others, listen to other people's stories and learn on that level, intuitively learn things, feel them. Don't listen to what your mind says if this makes sense or not. Intuitively say, does this resonate with me or not? Do I believe that Earth is flat or not? Do I believe in, you know, God and who's God and what does God look like? You know, things like that. Versus going by what was written and what was peer reviewed and what was proven. Open your mind to what is unwritten. Open your mind to what is out there for you to grasp and digest and stuff. Become flowing. You know, Cancer is water. Flowing in your communication, flowing in your mind. Let your mind go from rigid to flowing. It's going to be hard, guys. Very hard. Swallow your pride and listen to somebody else, you know, and learn something from them. And then ask questions, you know, and nurture. Like nurture, you know, it's important for you to nurture other cultures, you know, travel. And Cancer in the 9th would be great for somebody, because Cancer I associate with food too. So you could travel and just sample all the foods of the world. Maybe you just have a certain view of like what's good for me, what's bad for me, what I should eat, what I shouldn't eat because I read that in a book or because I wrote that myself. You're here now to just say, hey man, does this feel good to me? Does this feel good to my heart? And explore that. Explore that when it comes to other cultures, the world, religion, philosophies, higher education, big picture. Note that there's a big picture that cannot be proven, cannot be quantified, you know, cannot be put in a book or in a report. There's a beautiful world out there that needs to be explored from a feeling standpoint of view. And I'm really big on like the idea of foods, you know, North Node in the 9th in Cancer, explore the foods of the world, become like not a food critic, but a food sampler, and then share that and just say, hey, I went to freaking Peru and I had this dish, changed my life. Things like that. So, you know, get out of your small world, small communities, small wherever you are, and go out there, explore and feel it, open your heart to it. And you'll see that your world will become so large and you not even care anymore if you're an expert, because you're used to being the expert on something. You're used to people looking up to you and admiring you. Once again, I always keep forgetting, Capricorn South Node loves admiration. Capricorn South Node loves status, loves to know that they're the expert at this, loves to know that they're the number one voice about this. They love that. They don't know who they are without that admiration. So you're gonna have to go away from the idea of being measured by another and regarded up high on a pedestal and just say, fuck the pedestal. I want to live. I want to really experience this world. And you'll see, the more you open your mind, the more you become flowy in your ideas, the more your world will change, and you will realize how small your thinking was before, even though it was recognized in a book or in a diploma or a Nobel Prize. You're going to find a world that's bigger, that's much more exciting and fun than the world that you're used to. Okay?